In the late 19th century, there was born a lady by the name of Jezebel. Born into a family of nobles from birth, was educated and fitted to be future queen, to one day be married off and expand the family's power like how usual dynasties work. Jezebel was the daughter of King Ethbal of Sidon, a Phoenician city-state. Phoenicians lived throughout eastern Mediterranean and stretched far out as to Syria and modern-day Israel, which in modern days would be places like Lebanon and Jordan. With the Phoenicians being who they are and prominent in trade, it only made sense to have Jezebel married off to one of the most powerful nations throughout the 19th century, which just happened to be their neighbors, the Israelites. According to the Book of Kings of the Hebrew Bible, Jezebel married Ahab, the seventh king of Israel. This would start an impending doom around Israel for the rest of time. Jezebel gains her power from and through her husband Ahab, while seductively manipulating him from behind the scenes. Rapid changes started to happen around Israel, all supporting the name of Baal. Baal is a pagan symbol often depicted as a bull, the name meaning Lord in Northwest Semitic languages, a major false prophet that people praised that dwelled in the occult and dark arts. Ahab, manipulated by his wife, built a temple for this cult. Ahab made a Baalist altar in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. This was highly forbidden among Judaism as whole and made the entirety of the Omrid dynasty corrupt. Jezebel was an evil and cruel woman who would purge and murder prophets and messengers of Yahweh. Records of this can be read throughout the Bible, Quran and Torah. The influence of paganism caused for many to stray from the right path and start praising the altars of Baal, a false prophet, and deemed to be in the underworld. But the one to stand up to her chaos and reign was no other than Elijah. Elijah conducted a contest. He would invite Jezebel's court and the worshippers of Baal to Mount Carmel to see if Yahweh or Baal would sacrifice a bull on an altar. Despite cutting themselves and cries out, their worshipper Baal could not follow through. However, Elijah succeeded when he summoned Yahweh. Being impressed by his achievement, he got the people to slay the Baal worshippers, but afterwards Jezebel's fury reigned after him, and him being the only Yahweh believer, he was forced to flee into the wilderness. Shortly after, there was a man named Naboth that King Ahab wanted to purchase a vineyard from. But this would not happen since Naboth declined, saying it was an ancestral work and could not be sold. Jezebel caught ear to this and framed Naboth on false charges on blasphemy on God and the king, and had him tragically murdered by her court's god. Then Elijah had a prophecy that Ahab's whole bloodline would be wiped out, and Jezebel would be devoured by dogs. Years later, Ahab died in battle. His son, who succeeded the throne, then also died as a result of an accident. Then Joram took the throne just to be slain by Elijah's successor, Jehu. And now it came to Jezebel. They were now approaching the royal palace to capture her. And books say that she dressed up in her finest clothing and jewelry to flaunt herself as royalty. Jehu arrived and ordered her own servants to throw her from the castle window, and once cast out, her remains were eaten by dogs. The only thing that was left of her was her skull, pieces of her feet and hands, just like the prophet Elijah said. Jezebel, the name, best understood as meaning "where is the prince," is depicted throughout history through various tales and shows, and one of the biggest representations of her is a wolf dressed in sheepskin. A movie was made about her in 1954 called The Sins of Jezebel, and strangely a pagan anime called Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. In that show, she was a wife of a king that waited until his death to take siege of his kingdom, but all of these come down to the same lesson and representation: a man baited to his doom by lust and deception.